Machiavelli never wrote a self-help book. He never gave speeches about focus. He never told people to use timers, go on dopamine detox, or follow morning routines. And yet, he understood something far deeper and far more dangerous. He knew that focus wasn't just about getting more done. It was about control, about bending reality to your will, about carving a path through a noisy, chaotic world. Focus was not a nice little habit to him. Focus was a weapon. And if you learn to use it the way Machiavelli did, you stop reacting and start deciding. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop wishing your life would change, and you make it change. Machiavelli saw that most men do not lack power, they lack direction. Their minds aren't empty, they are scattered. Their strength isn't gone, it's wasted. Power that is scattered is weak. Power that is concentrated is unstoppable. So the real question isn't just how to focus. The real question is, how do you weaponize focus so that nothing can pull you off course? It starts with subtraction. Most people think focus is about adding more tools, more apps, more systems, more goals. But Machiavelli knew that real focus starts with elimination. He once wrote that a wise ruler must act like both a fox and a lion. The fox avoids traps, the lion crushes threats. In your life, the traps are distractions. The threats are endless choices. You are not losing focus because you are weak. You are losing focus because you have made yourself available to too many things. You have said yes to too many paths. The Machiavellian solution is clear. Cut 90% of the goals you think you need to chase. Say no to people who waste your time or drain your energy through guilt. Stop trying to be good at everything. Instead, pick one thing that truly matters and master it until the world has no choice but to notice. Because when you say yes to everything, your energy becomes thin, spread out, weak. And diluted energy is not power, it's noise. Machiavelli would tell you that what you exclude defines you more than what you include. So pick your battlefield, then burn every exit. Machiavelli believed that a prince should never enter a war unless he was ready to win it completely. Apply that to your own life. If you want transformation, you can't just experiment. You must go all in. Choose one domain where you will be unreasonably focused. Building a business, building a body that demands respect, mastering a craft, and once you choose, burn the ships. No backup plans, no safe way out, just total psychological commitment. Today, some call this deep work. Machiavelli would call it territorial control of the mind. You must occupy the mental space so completely that there is no room for distractions. You dominate it until competition either surrenders or disappears. You become unreachable. But here is a truth most people avoid. Being too visible kills focus. One habit has destroyed more ambition than failure ever could. Being constantly available, always texting back, always picking up calls, always online, always responding. Machiavelli advised rulers to stay unpredictable, to stay silent when necessary, to create an air of mystery. Why? Because silence creates fear, and fear creates power. But there is another reason. When you are always reachable, your energy is always split. And a split mind cannot build anything great. So you must reclaim your time. Cut 90% of your notifications, disappear for a few hours a day. 3 hours minimum where no one can reach you. No messages, no scrolling, no noise. Don't apologize for this. You don't owe the world your availability. You owe yourself progress. Let others feel your absence. Let them wonder what you are building. The more they feel it, the more they will respect it. But focus alone is not enough. You need pressure. Machiavelli believed that necessity is what drives men to act. Comfort softens them. Luxury weakens them. The most focused men in history didn't wait for the right mood to work. They created pressure. Sometimes it was real, sometimes it was artificial. But pressure was always there. So manufacture pressure in your own life. Set deadlines that scare you. Remove the safety net. Tell people what you plan to achieve so your reputation is at stake. Bet money if you have to. Bet pride, bet status. When there is something real to lose, your focus sharpens. Machiavelli knew that fear sharpens the mind. Just as fire turns gold into something pure, pressure turns your attention into a laser. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting to feel ready. Create the storm that forces you to act. Society loves to glorify balance. Balance sounds comfortable. Balance feels safe. But balance is what keeps people living soft lives. Machiavelli would laugh at balance. He praised control. total command over your mind, your schedule, your choices. When you wake up, don't ask what the balanced thing to do is. Ask yourself, what action will give me maximum control over my future today? That might mean saying no to social time. That might mean working through the night. That might mean training until it hurts, because your future is on the line. Balance is for the comfortable. Control is for the powerful. Focus is not soft or gentle. Focus is an act of war. It is violence against distraction. It is saying no to every urge that tries to pull you off course. Every time your phone buzzes, every time your mind tells you to scroll, every time you get the itch to check out, that's when war begins. Machiavelli wrote that cruelty should be used only when needed, but when used, it should be decisive. The same is true here. Don't negotiate with distraction. Don't manage it. Destroy it. Block the site. Delete the app. Cut the excuse. Design your day with the discipline of a ruler. Most people drift through their day like tourists, reacting to whatever shows up. Machiavelli would call that a weak way to live. Instead, run your day like a king runs his kingdom. Every hour must serve the mission. Every task must have a reason. Every minute must be accounted for. This doesn't mean living like a robot. It means living with sovereignty. The powerful do not ask for time. They command it. This is how you begin to focus like Machiavelli. Not to feel calmer, not to have peace, but to take control, to seize your life back. Because in a distracted world, the man who can focus becomes untouchable. Let everyone else scroll. Let everyone else drift. You build. You work. You move forward with precision. And by the time they realize what you've done, it's already too late. If you still think focus is about closing your eyes and whispering affirmations, you have misunderstood the game. Focus is not just about concentrating, it's about commanding. It's about building a mental kingdom where nothing moves without your permission. No impulse escapes punishment. No thought rebels against your rule. What you are creating is not just discipline, you are building a fortress of mind. Inside that fortress, only two things can survive: purpose and precision. Guard your attention like a king guards his throne. Machiavelli warned that the biggest threats always come from within the walls. The same is true for you. Your lack of focus doesn't come from the world. It comes from inside, from the lazy, anxious, impulsive part of you. The part that craves comfort and distraction. You must govern yourself like a strict ruler. Find the rebel voices in your head and crush them. When your mind drifts, snap it back. When you resist distraction, reward it. Train your focus like a loyal guard dog until it obeys without hesitation. Because if you drop your focus for even 1 second, someone else will take advantage of it. And remember, not everything deserves your attention. Not everything is worth mastering. Machiavelli didn't believe in doing everything. He believed in doing what mattered most. Most results come from a small set of actions, so stop scattering your attention. Find the leverage point that moves everything else forward. If you're building a business, is it sales or content? If you're building your body, is it training, intensity, or recovery? If you're earning respect, is it presence or persuasion? Stop swinging wildly. Start striking with precision. This is where you become a spy of your own mind. Watch it, study it. Notice when your attention collapses. Notice when it is sharpest. Notice what triggers the drift. The greatest rulers were not just ruthless, they were strategic. They observed before they acted. You must do the same. This is not soft self-help. This is intelligence gathering. This is planning a takeover of your own life. Once you can watch your mind without emotion, you can direct it without resistance. Build a ritual of war. Treat every work session like battle. When you sit down to focus, it's not casual, it's combat with your weaker self. Machiavelli knew rituals mattered because they prepare the mind for power. Build your own ritual. Sit in the same chair. Turn on the same light. Play the same music that signals it's time to work. Write one sharp, cold sentence before you start. It signals the mind that battle has begun. Then put on the mask of focus. Appear to be unstoppable. Appear to be locked in. Machiavelli valued appearances because they shape reality. If people believe you are driven, you start to believe it too. So act the part until it becomes real. Speak less. Move like your time is expensive. Carry yourself like someone on a mission. At first it may feel like an act. Good, because when repeated, the act becomes truth. And finally, use solitude as a weapon. Isolation creates insight. Machiavelli wrote his most powerful ideas not while sitting in a palace, but but while living in exile. After being betrayed, tortured, and banished from public life, he retreated to his small estate. Most men would have given up, drowned themselves in despair, or waited for luck to rescue them. But Machiavelli used this isolation to sharpen his mind. In that solitude, he wrote The Prince, the book that still shapes how leaders think hundreds of years later. He turned pain into power because he understood something most people fear. Being alone is not punishment. It is preparation. When the world cuts you off, that is the moment you have a chance to see it clearly. The noise fades. The opinions of others disappear. You stop performing for the crowd. And in that quiet, you start to see who you really are. So instead of running from isolation, you must engineer it. Create your own exile on purpose. Block out days where you completely disappear. Go somewhere nobody expects you to be. Cut off the stream of validation, approval, and chatter. Sit with the silence and do not escape it. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, almost unbearable. Your mind will itch for stimulation. It will scream for distraction. That is good. That is the detox beginning. You are pulling the poison of overstimulation out of your system. And once you endure this phase, the noise in your head will stop, and you will start to think like a strategist, not like a servant to distraction. Focus requires a strict hierarchy of values. Not everything in life is equal. Not every idea in your head deserves attention. Not every task on your list deserves action. Machiavelli did not believe that all things were equal. He believed in order, in rank, in priority. You must install that same mental order into your mind. Create a personal hierarchy. At the very top are the mission-critical actions, the ones you do every day, no matter what. Below that are maintenance actions that support the mission. Below that, the nice-to-have things you do only if there is extra energy. And at the very bottom, forbidden actions. Anything that wastes time, pulls you off track, or weakens you. Every time you obey this order, your focus becomes stronger. Every time you blur these lines, your focus weakens. Power belongs to the person who knows exactly what deserves their energy and burns everything else. If you want to grow fast, collapse time. Do in 3 hours what other people take 3 days to do. Machiavelli wasn't just efficient, he was intense. When he acted fully. No hesitation, no half-hearted dragging. He understood that time isn't measured in minutes, but in decisiveness. So if you want to master focus, stop trying to stretch it longer and longer. Make it sharper. Work in sprints, not endless marathons. Attack your work like a predator, not a peasant. Every day ask yourself, if I only had 1 hour to make massive progress, what would I do? Then do that. Repeat that every single day and you will bend time in your favor. Because focus is not just about doing, it is about deciding with speed, with clarity, and with total commitment. At this point, you already know what Machiavelli would demand from a focused person. Ruthless selection, sharp rituals, deliberate solitude, and decisive execution. But this is only the starting point. If you want a total transformation, focus alone is not enough. You must know where to point that focus. You can have the sharpest sword in the world, but if you swing it in the wrong direction, it means nothing. The world is full of men who are focused, but focused on the wrong things. They spend hours perfecting tasks that don't matter. They obsess over petty drama, chase tiny dopamine hits, waste their life on distractions while the throne of their potential sits empty. Machiavelli didn't just teach focus, he taught targeting. He taught strategic vision. He taught leaders to know exactly where to place their energy, so that when they acted, the entire situation shifted in their favor. This is not mere productivity. This is positional warfare. This is about placing yourself where influence flows, where small actions create massive results. Not all tasks are equal. Not all people are equal. Some are leverage points, key nodes that control entire systems. Machiavelli advised rulers not to waste time trying to control every single person in their kingdom. Instead, he told them to control the generals, the nobles, the financiers, the few who control the many. You must apply the same principle to your life. Stop trying to do everything. Stop scattering your attention across 100 different goals. Look around and ask yourself, which skill, if I mastered it, would unlock the highest return on investment in my life? Which relationship opens the most doors? Which platform or system can amplify my work tenfold? That is where your focus belongs. Not on what is urgent, not on what is popular, but on the few things that actually move the system. 1,000 random actions will never equal one precise strike at the right leverage point. Break the cycle of passive consumption. You cannot focus like a strategist if you are constantly filling your brain with junk, endless scrolling, endless reacting, endless gossip. These are all ways to scatter your mind. Machiavelli warned that men are driven by two forces, fear and appetite. And the appetite for stimulation is how most people destroy their ability to focus. If you want a strategist's mind, you must consume information like a strategist. Read, not for entertainment, but for ammunition. Watch, not to escape, but to decode how the world works. Listen, not to kill time, but to sharpen your edge. When you treat consumption as fuel instead of distraction, your brain stops craving escape and starts craving execution. You stop zoning out and start zoning in. You must experiment with intensity. Test your own mind. Break it. Rebuild it. Machiavelli was not just a theorist. He tested his ideas. He failed. He observed human nature with cold precision, and that is why his insights still matter today. Bring that same precision to your focus. Ask yourself, what hours give me the deepest work? What places drain my energy? What foods, what music, what surroundings make me sharper? Track the results ruthlessly. Cut what fails. Amplify what works. The average person just tries to focus. The Machiavellian approach is to build focus like a weapon, battle-tested, upgraded, made deadlier with every use. Place a supreme mission at the center of your life. Everything else must bend to it. Every great empire was built around one obsession, one clear, consuming mission that organized everything else around it. Machiavelli told rulers to pursue glory, not just for vanity, but because glory focuses the soul. It filters decisions. It kills distractions. You need the same thing. Not a vague desire to be successful, not a casual dream to get rich, but a mission so sharp it cuts through every excuse. Build something worthy of fear and respect. The best business in your city, the most respected expert in your niche, a body so powerful it speaks before you do. Once you have a mission like that, every decision in your life either serves it or is eliminated. You'll no longer try to focus. Your brain is forced to focus. But be careful. The biggest enemy of focus is not outside. It is inside. Machiavelli's darkest warning was this: a man who conquers others but cannot conquer himself is still a slave. You can block apps, cut people out of your life, build strict routines, but if your own mind whispers doubt and hesitation, you will leak energy forever. Focus requires self-loyalty. It means killing guilt when you say no, silencing shame when you choose to work alone, eliminating doubt when you set big, ambitious goals. The inner saboteur is clever. It disguises itself as your friend. It whispers, "You're being too intense. You deserve a break. This is too much." Machiavelli would laugh at that. No man ever rose to greatness by being reasonable. So confront that inner saboteur with fire. Do not negotiate with it. Do not explain yourself to it. Exile it. Build external systems to protect your mind when it gets weak. Focus dies in chaos. Not because you are weak, but because even the strongest warrior will fall if the battlefield is unstable. Fortify your life like a city before battle. Build a workspace that pulls you into action. Create a morning routine that kills laziness. Fill your calendar with lockdown hours where nothing can interrupt you. These are not soft habits. These are psychological barricades that keep your will unbroken when the world starts knocking. Make boredom your ally. True focus is not just attack mode, it is endurance. And boredom is what kills most people's endurance. Not because boredom is dangerous, but because people run from it. Machiavelli spent hours in his study simply thinking, writing letters, letting silence sharpen him. You must relearn this skill. Sit in a room with nothing but a pen and paper. No phone, no music, no screen. Just think about your next move for 20 minutes. It will feel like withdrawal at first. That is a good sign. You are detoxing your brain from the constant pull of cheap entertainment. Once you master boredom, you master yourself. If you can sit still in silence, you can command storms when they come. Build a feedback loop for your focus. Machiavelli did not believe in blind action. He believed in constant observation and adjustment. After every work session, reflect. What worked? What distracted you? After each day, ask yourself, what gave me energy? What drained me? Adjust, refine, improve. Most people treat focus like a blunt hammer. You must treat it like a piece of software, upgraded, debugged, and refined until it runs perfectly. The most focused person is not the one who tries the hardest. He's the one who adapts the fastest. Make focus your identity, not just a tool. The real power is not in what you do, it is in who you become. You don't just use focus, you are focus. It shows in how you sit, how you speak, how you walk into a room. People can feel when someone knows exactly what they want. Build that presence. When focus becomes part of your nature, you no longer have to chase power. Power starts chasing you. But there is one final level. Even with all of this, if you cannot control your emotions, your focus will crack. The world is full of traps designed to bait you, distract you, break your rhythm with conflict, flattery, or noise. Focus is easy when you are alone and the world is quiet. But that is not the real battlefield. The real test comes when everything around you is falling apart. Deadlines exploding, people panicking, insults flying, and you still move with cold precision. This is focus under fire. Machiavelli admired not the calm man, but the strategist who could stay unshaken in chaos, who could still see clearly when everyone else was blinded by emotion, and strike while others were still reacting. You must train emotional immunity. When something triggers you, delay your reaction. Name the feeling out loud. That's anger, that's fear, that's envy. Then dismiss it. Your mission is royal, your emotions are servants. Never let them overthrow the king. Treat your attention like currency. Every time you spend it on drama, gossip, endless scrolling, you are throwing gold into the fire. Invest your attention only where the return is massive. On conversations that matter, on plans that grow, on work that compounds. This is how you stop being busy and start becoming legendary. And understand this, focus is not just personal power, it is social power. Watch what happens when you stay locked in while everyone else is distracted. When you hold eye contact while they check their phones. When you remain silent while they overshare, people start to talk. They start to respect you. They start to chase your attention. Your focus becomes a magnet. It creates mystery. Mystery builds status. Status builds influence. But you must also guard against the focus leech effect. Even if you are strong, spending too much time around scattered, unfocused people will drag you down. Machiavelli warned that bad advisors can ruin even the strongest rulers. Your circle is your future. Cut the leeches. Surround yourself with allies who live like assassins, quiet, disciplined, sharp. Friends who make you stronger by how they live. Mentors who fuel your mission, not drain it. Create public commitments that trap you into greatness. Declare your goals openly. Set deadlines that others can see. Put your pride and reputation on the line, so failure is not just painful, it is unacceptable. This is how powerful men stay locked in. They raise the stakes until focus becomes survival. Operate in silence. Do not justify your grind to people who do not understand it. Do not explain your mission. Execute in the dark and let your results speak loudly when the time comes. A man who builds quietly is always more dangerous than the man who constantly talks about what he will do. Accept failure as part of the process. You will lose focus sometimes. You will waste time. But the rule is simple. Never miss twice. One bad day, fine. Recover immediately. The man who can refocus within hours instead of weeks is unstoppable. Always keep the eagle view. Always know what empire you are building. When you zoom out, the small failures no longer control you. You are playing the long game, positioning your moves, thinking years ahead while everyone else is trapped in the present moment. That is the final stage of focus. Not just concentration, but strategy. Not just working hard, but moving like a chess master who already knows the last move of the game. At this point, you are no longer just a person trying to be disciplined. You are a prince in your own life, operating from the shadows, striking with precision, building something so powerful the world will not see it until it is too late. Focus is no longer a habit, it has become who you are. And when that happens, you do not chase power. Power bends toward you.